In this video, I'll be talking about a concept called cognitive reappraisal. Although the names sound difficult, in essence, what it means is that assigning a different meaning to a problem, assigning a positive meaning to a situation. Okay, now I want to go deep into this concept of cognitive reappraisal, but before I do that, I want to tell you a story. Imagine you're on holidays. Imagine you're on holidays in a very deserty place and you are out on a stroll. It's a lovely day, the sun is out and you're walking. As you're walking, you suddenly stop. You freeze. You freeze because your eyes detected something on the ground. Your eyes detected a snake. The information from the senses is sent to two centers of the brain. One through a short wire to the middle section of the brain, the limbic section of the brain, where your emotions live. And one through a long wire to the thinking brain, the smart center of the brain, the professor brain. The information which was sent through the short wire initiate fear response. Fear initiate physical responses in the body. It sends information to the lower section of the brain where your automatic functions live. The heartbeat, the blood pressure, the blinking of the eye, digestion, sleeping, all those automatic functions. Fear tell the body functions to get activated. So your heartbeat starts rapidly. Your blood pressure increases. Your breathing rate increases. Your muscles get tense. Your digestion slows down. This is the stress response. Now, something else happened. The information which was sent to the top section of the brain is evaluated and is sent downward to the middle section of the brain. And tell the middle section of the brain, tell fear, stop, take it easy. You're overacting. I evaluated the information. It's not a snake. It's a piece of stick, twisted like a snake, looks like a snake, but it's not a snake. So fear goes, oh, okay now. Sends information downwards. Normal body functions are resumed. One piece of information completely changed your psychology and your biology. This is cognitive reappraisal. One piece of information had so much influence on your physiology and your psychology. Let's go back to the evolutionary past now to trace the origin of cognitive reappraisal. On day one, a tiny bacteria started life on this planet. The planet told the bacteria, who are you? What are you doing here? Bacteria told the planet, well, I just happened, but I want to survive. The earth told the bacteria, look, I'm not changing my ways for you. If you can adapt to my ways of doing things, fine, be my guest. So now the bacteria started scratching its head. What do I do now? Well, so it started to multiply in an effort to increase its chances of survival. But as it started to multiply, another problem happened. Competition. The bacteria on day one faced two problems. Inhospitable earth, competition. This is the root of adversity from day one. These two are the roots of adversity from day one. So now we have a brain that is focused on making sure that, we survive and we pass on the gene. The brain must evolve functions to deal with these two enemies. And luckily for us, our brain did evolve robust mechanisms to deal with adversity. And one of the two is cognitive reappraisal. We initially were dependent on our lower brain, which had some basic functions, survival function, instinctive functions. Then some of us evolved the emotional brain. Then some of us, by us I mean creatures, evolved the top brain. Because the reliance on these two faculties, the early faculties, was not efficient, we were making bad decisions. We thought something was threatening, which in essence it was not. So some sort of faculty was required, which can decipher as to which is the real threat and which is not. Efficient decision making was very, very important. So we evolved the cortical regions, particularly the prefrontal cortex, which communicate with the emotional center of the brain. And the emotional center of the brain communicate with the prefrontal cortex. Through that bidirectional interaction, they make a decision. Oh, this is not a snake, it's just a piece of stick. Imagine a world where we are constantly stressed 24/7 because we think there are stresses all around us. That's not good. Now, I want to dig a little deeper into the neurobiology of it. You are looking at a picture of a human chromosome. Pay special attention to the tips. These tips are called telomeres. They were discovered by a scientist named Professor Elizabeth Blackburn, and she won Nobel Prize in Physiology for that. The job of our DNA information is kept inside the chromosome, and these telomeres or tips keep them intact. But what happens is that during a normal biological process, when the cell multiplies, the process shaves off the telomere. And it keeps on happening. And this is called aging, basically. Professor Elizabeth Blackburn found that when people were thrown a challenge and they got scared of the challenge, the telomeres were shortened quite rapidly. That's why people age faster when they are stressed. She found that the other set of people who were thrown a problem and they said, bring him on, I'm ready for it. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to deal with this problem. A different area of the brain was engaged, which started to repair the telomeres. So what's going on? In essence, in one instance, the brain got the message that the problem is too much. The two enemies are too much. Are they going to get him? So why waste resources on repairing the telomere? In the other instance, the brain got the message that the enemy can be taken, the war can proceed, there's a chance of winning. So let me repair and strengthen the castle. Let me repair the telomeres. Just a thought create a cascade of biological functions that enhances our capacity. Now, there was another study done. In another study, scientists found that people who were thrown a problem and they got scared, they had more cortisol in their system and less DHEA in their system. Now, DHEA acts as a resilience building hormone or chemical in our brain. Cortisol, when it stays for too long, and there's a lot of cortisol in our bloodstream or in our system, it is called chronic stress. It leads to chronic stress. So when people who were thrown a problem and they were scared of the problem, they had more cortisol in their system and less DHEA in their system. On the other hand, people who took on the problem, they had more DHEA and less cortisol in their system. What does that tell us? It means that the brain evolved robust mechanisms in dealing with adversity and stress and gave us the agency to initiate those systems. Cognitive reappraisal through prefrontal cortex initiate those powerful functions which aid us in defeating adversity, which make us resilient. Now we're going to talk about how we can deploy cognitive reappraisal. The first tactic is to positively reframe a negative situation. Okay, so let's suppose you are stuck in a traffic and you are running late for the office. Well, what can you do now? Right. So rather than engaging in this mental exercise of, oh my God, I'm going to lose the job, oh my God, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and increasing your stress response and destroying your body, you can listen to a podcast. You can say, well, okay, I am stuck in traffic. I will be late, but that's not going to be the end of it. I might as well get some benefit out of this 40 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour that I have. So I'm going to listen to a podcast. In a professional context, if you failed in a project, then you can reframe the situation positively by saying, well, okay, I did fail in this situation because there are certain weaknesses that I need to overcome. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. So that failure, in essence, become a growth opportunity. The second tactic is ask for proof. So something is bothering you. There's a problem that you're thinking about, particularly problems in the future. Ask for proof. What proof you have that this is how it's going to happen. If you can predict future, you are the most sought after individual on the planet because nobody has done it so far. If you can predict exactly that this is how it's going to happen, you are gold because you are unique. Nobody can predict future. Ask for proof. This is going to happen. That is going to happen. Oh my God, this is it. What's the proof? If there is no proof, that means you are just engaging in anxiety, they'll have no benefit to you. The third technique is distancing. The idea here is to look at a problem objectively rather than emotionally, and how it's done. So let's suppose you are anxious. Now, in this instance, what you'll do is you will detach yourself, okay? And you will look at the problem from a third person point of view. So rather than using the word, I am anxious, you'll say, Joe, why are you anxious? This detachment and this looking at it from afar reduce the emotional response. The fourth technique is the fly on the wall technique. The idea is that you imagine yourself as a neutral individual and you are looking at a problem or a behavior from a neutral angle. And you are thinking, well, how would I approach this problem? Okay, it's similar to the distancing, but in this instance, you are neutral about it. Okay, you're just observing. You're just brainstorming different ideas from a neutral perspective. The next technique is to act like a friend. Okay, so you detach yourself, but pretend that you are a friend. Okay, and how would you advise a friend if that friend was in that situation? So you talk to that friend. Say, hey, Joe or Michael, calm down, take it easy, do this, do this. This self-talk is actually very powerful. This self-talk is very, very powerful, particularly when you have no one around you. So you engage in this dialogue, just like two friends would. You know what? Oh, I have this problem. Oh, really? I think you should do this. You should do this. You should do this. And lastly, imagine you are on another planet and you're looking down at Earth. It's a tiny place from above. On that tiny place, there is a tiny dot, you. Are your problems that big? From that angle? I don't think so. So when we look from above and we see so much happening, we think, well, my problems are minute, particularly when you observe other people and their problems. The idea of cognitive reappraisal is to give a different meaning to a situation. You can deploy many techniques to do that, just to change your mind from a negative to a positive.